Hope you are enjoying the summer. Before the players left for the break, we had the chance to speak with a pair of veteran newcomers, Cisco and Josh Reynolds, during mandatory minicamp. That's coming up.
We can beat anybody in the world, and I think we're going to win next Sunday.
It's picked off. Aaron Jumbled and caught. Jumbo Elliott. One-handed catch. Chris Martin gets running loose. Revis can't wait.
Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride.
The official Jets podcast is presented by Kendra Scott, the jewelry company that's shining bright and doing good. Shop game day ready jewelry styles and so much more at kendrascott.com. Cisco is celebrating a homecoming with the Jets. Born in Queens, Cisco grew up a Jets fan on Long Island and Valley Stream, and in March, he signed with the Green and White after spending his first 4 NFL seasons in Jacksonville. Cisco, a rangy free safety who has excellent ball skills, recently stopped by the studio to talk about his new chapter. What's this all been like? A Valley Stream kid playing with the Jets now.
It's been crazy, and I try to think about, how many people have had this opportunity that, I know, and it's a very short list, obviously. So for me to just continue to just embrace the opportunity, hopefully be an inspiration to the kids that, know me from the area, and it's humbling for sure.
Who were your teams growing up on Long Island?
My teams growing up, NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a Jets fan. I was a Jets fan through and through. A little bit of a Saints fan when they were winning. But the Jets fan, as a local kid, was the team I rooted for.
What players did you gravitate towards?
I always start with Mark Sanchez, and sometimes people laugh, because it's like as a DB, like you say Mark Sanchez, but he was just the head of it, so that's who I remember the most. Then obviously Darrelle Revis. I remember the O-lineman, Nick Mangold, was one of the people that I always recognized when I came to games, and so just that, those legends for this place is kind of what rings a bell.
So you remember those playoff runs in 09 and 10, huh?
Yeah, those ring a bell for sure.
What was that like for you as a fan, a kid growing up in the area, the hometown team making a run?
Yeah, it was just I came home and watched NFL football every Sunday after my games. And so, we get the local games, and so the Jets are going to be on. So to watch them just continue to win, and like even the regular seasons, they would have great records. So they were one of the better teams. And then watching them, sometimes beat the Patriots, that was always great to see. So for us, it was just, embracing the hometown team.
What were your expectations when free agency came around this time?
Man, I was open to whatever God had for me. And honestly, I had expectations that I would get an opportunity to start somewhere and just continue to grow. And so for me, I wasn't coming off of my best season, so I wanted to get somewhere, start new. And the Jets came up, and once the Jets kind of came into the picture, I couldn't get it off my mind because just the idea of being back up north, which for me, it's just the air. Like I always spent my bye weeks coming to New York because I just love being back home and smelling the New York air, seeing New York people. And so to have the opportunity to come back full time was like, it was a dream. So the minute it came into the picture, it was, I tried to keep myself calm, calm the waters to see what would finally happen. But once it came through, I was really, really excited.
Can you speak to that? What's different about the New York air?
Compared to Florida, if we talking technical, right, the humidity and things of that nature, but something about just the atmosphere, and also just like the architecture of the area. I closely identify with like New York suburbs, and so New Jersey suburbs, where we're at, just the neighborhood, the community feel, the people, how they interact. I love bagels, love pizza, and so I've been able to go to bagel shops on the weekends and just be normal and enjoy a good bagel. So those are the things that I value the most.
What are your pizza spots?
Parsippany's Best Pizza has been my go-to.
Okay.
And then A&B Bagels out in, I think it's Morristown.
Okay, yeah.
They have a great bacon, egg, and cheese.
When it became realistic that, hey, this might be happening, what were your friends and family telling you at the time?
Yeah, I made sure I told the right people as it was still kind of becoming a thing because, there was a lot of excitement. So definitely told my close friends and my close family, and we all started, fantasizing about how, what could happen if that falls through. And so when it did, everyone was just super excited. And I think now that's kind of calmed down, has become a reality. I've been able to, learn more about myself and how to, navigate being back home and having, the opportunity to kind of be who you were when you grew up, right? Like some of the old habits and things of that nature. Just continue to work through that has been one of my biggest focuses, but also been a sign of maturity for me to come back home, be able to kind of grow out of old habits in that way. So for me, it's been a lot to learn in a short amount of time.
What's the situation like? What's the environment like when you walk into a building that the head coach, he played cornerback at a very high level. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler, and Aaron Glenn. You got Steve Wilkes, who's got head coaching experience, but has led some very elite defenses. He's your defensive coordinator. You got Chris Harris there, one of the position coaches, and Dre Bly as well.
Yes, like you said, a list of guys that are holding me accountable each and every day, and I feel like I owe them my best on each and every day because they're giving me the opportunity to continue to grow here and be a part of what we're trying to get done. So I look to them each and every day for whether it's just insight, just corrections, and really just growing that relationship. You hope that these relationships last longer than just a few years that you spend together. And so I appreciate that we'll all be able to continue to ride this thing out. And when you win, you remember the guys that you did it around. So as we continue to grow, I'm just soaking it all in. Like you said, Wilkes has been a great leader, just setting the tone for us each and every day as well. And so I'm just, like I said, soaking it in.
How do you go about being central command back there? Because one thing AG said early on is that he likes your leadership ability.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just being myself. And so I've always been vocal on the field. Certain things are second nature for me. Other things I'm continuing to grow in as a leader. And so I'm trying to embrace both sides, things I'm uncomfortable with and the things I'm comfortable with. And then central command on the field is just me doing my job. As long as I'm in the right position and making the right calls, and also working with my counterpart, with Tony Adams and Isaiah Oliver so far. As I continue to work with them, just continuing to understand our chemistry and what goes unsaid, what doesn't, we've been getting a lot better.
What's it been like working with TA and Isaiah?
It's been great. We're really close around the building, which is what I love about both of them, is that, we're able to not just be on the field and communicate, but we go into the meeting rooms together, work out together, stretch together, eat together, all the things from the morning until we leave here. So things like that, when you notice that within a building, you can't just skip over it, because I've been around teams with really close groups, and that's always been a great part of our success.
How about the young buck, Malachi Moore, coming in here from Alabama?
Yeah, I love his game, bro. I always heard about him, just college football, Alabama DB. You hear about guys like that. So being able to work with him has been awesome. And I've been able to even learn from him because he has so many great, spent a lot of time at a high level in college. So he knows a lot of the game, plays it very naturally, has a great pace. And so he's been picking up on things really fast. And you always see guys that come from those programs usually do pick some certain stuff up fast compared to myself. I feel like it took me a little bit longer. And so I think he'll have a great career.
But what do you specifically like about the physical skill set?
Yeah, he can run really well. He can cover. He can also play safety, so he can cover in the slot, but also play safety. You could just tell that he's very confident in his ability to move footwork wise, and so that puts you in a position where you could make a lot of plays in different positions. So I think his versatility is what's gonna give him an opportunity to play early.
What's he like in the meeting room? Because he was looked upon as a leader on that Alabama defense. Now you walk into a room much like you did a few years back from Syracuse, and the installations are coming at you, and you're sitting alongside guys like Andre Cisco.
Yeah, so install-wise, he's been doing great, picking up on the defenses. He'll ask questions sparingly, just making sure, is this what I think it is? And so when you have that mindset, he's thinking football the right way. And then he has no issues asking vets questions, which you like to see as well. Although sometimes, it could be competition within the room in a healthy way. Just being able to lean on the vets, we've been able to help him and string him along. So, yeah, he's definitely a leader in his own right, just in terms of carrying himself the right way. And he's continue to be prepared on the field.
What stood out to you about number one?
Sauce, I think what I've learned the most, he's a character. He's a funny dude.
Yeah.
He brings a lot of energy to the meeting room, to practice. And so it's been fun to play alongside him so far and just continue to see, how I can continue to help him and him help me and just grow that chemistry.
How unique is he in terms of how big he is, but also he can be physical off the line. He's comfortable playing man. He's comfortable playing zone, and he's so rangy.
Yeah. I think that was what initially surprised me, is how twitchy and quick he was for his size, and just being able to get in and out of breaks. Sometimes guys like that, because you're longer, it takes a little bit more time to sink your hips and things of that nature. But for him, it's more receiver-esque kind of the way he moves, and so that's why he does so well covering those guys. So it's been cool to watch.
Have you envisioned what it's going to be like on game day playing with a guy like Sauce? Because you cover a lot of field yourself. Anybody who's watched your game, and you've been known to take the ball away.
Yeah, I think just early on we've had some opportunities in practice to continue to take the ball away, and when we work together, that's kind of what's going to be able to happen. We're going to be able to at least close windows fast and continue to get our hands on balls. So, like when we're on the same side of the field, we're able to communicate, whether it's him sinking in a cover 2 or sinking in a cover 4, things of that nature that we're able to continue to work on. That's how you close the windows and invite the quarterback to throw it, but we were both able to close fast.
Yeah. What about some of those other guys playing the cornerback position? Maybe like a Michael Carter is one of the better nickels in the NFL. You got Brandon Stevens, who comes over from Baltimore, of course. And then you got an interesting young big corner in A.Z. Thomas as well.
Yeah, great group. Michael Carter, I've been able to learn more about since I got here, and very high level nickelback, like you said. Just able to do it all when it comes to fitting a run and cover guys. So just being able to play off of him, even as we continue to grow, communicate with him has been great. Just as cohesiveness for the back end. AZ, I love. Brandon Stevens, I also love. I've always been a fan of B. Steve. We came in together. Mm-hmm. Me, Michael Carter, and B. Steve came in the same year. So you usually know the guys that you come in with. And then AZ, I'm just excited. I'm really excited about his future, just mindset-wise and how he approaches the game. And when you come in, with a lot of humility, although you're extremely talented, it usually works well.
Can you speak to the emphasis on takeaways that you're hearing from the coaching staff and how that's going to be right up your alley? Yeah,
that's we got to live and die by them, and that's what in the past has been able to separate the defenses I've been on, is just guys, being those type of guys that just at least tip the ball in the air for somebody else, and so we've been able to, as we continue to learn the defense, understand when you're going to have the opportunity to get your eyes on the quarterback and roam and be free, and then other times when just knowing when it's your time to make your play, that's the biggest thing. And so, like you said, coach has been emphasizing that well.
How much do you enjoy that aspect of it, the cat and mouse game, playing the safety position, and how you have to work against the cornerback and know when to take your chances?
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing. I honestly want to take my next step on in my game, just understanding how much the offense is dictating what they want to do off of my positioning. So as I continue to learn that, I'll be able to continue to, like you said, kind of play that cat and mouse game and invite quarterbacks to make bad decisions.
All right, let's get you out of here with this one. Plans for this summer, and how excited are you for training camp?
Yeah, plans for the summer. Once we finish up here, I'll be heading on a mission trip with my church. And so we'll be going to South Africa and Zimbabwe and visiting the churches that we have there already planted. So this will be my second year in a row going, so I'm excited. And so I just get to, see a different side of life. Obviously, we get a chance to pray for people, provide some food for people that are less fortunate, and just do some things that, you don't get the opportunity to do while being in New Jersey in America. And so it'll be a super cool experience. I'll be there for about 10 to 11 days and getting some work in. And then I'll come back and I'll be in New Jersey. And I'm just really excited for training camp because we've had an opportunity to get a lot better this offseason. And so I know once training camp comes around, we're all going to be super hungry and fired up.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Get ready for all the action and energy of Jets game day this season with 2025 season tickets. Lock in your seats to be there for every snap of exciting matchups at MetLife Stadium at nyjets.com/season tickets. Josh Reynolds is one of a handful of Jets who've celebrated a 30th birthday. He'll find himself in the mix competing for time opposite star Garrett Wilson at training camp. After surviving a shooting that took place in Denver last October, Reynolds said he's moved past it and is ready to get going in Jersey. We caught up with Josh during mandatory camp. What's the transition been like so far?
It's been smooth. Plays are a lot similar to Detroit, so it's more just kind of getting my memory back going with them. But other than that, man, the guys are great out here. The coaches are great. It's been a smooth transition.
How did it all come together, you landing here with the Jets?
Honestly, I wasn't even sure about them, and then my agent's kind of like, I seen AG get signed. I was like, oh, that's a good pickup for him. And then my agent comes and was like, hey, Jets are interested. I was like, all right. Let me hear them out, and so just loved what they were like, the culture that they were going to bring. I knew the culture they were going to bring here was going to be awesome. It was going to be great for the guys here, and I just wanted to be a part of it. So AG got me on board. And
what was your relationship like with Aaron in Detroit? Obviously, he's on the other side of the ball as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I was like, as good as any offense and defense will get, get used to. But no, I mean, our ties kind of go a little longer with A&M ties and stuff. So I mean, since I got there, he was just one of those guys that you can go to and he's gonna tell you real stuff, whether it be football or just be real life. And so, it's always just kind of been that, that mentor kind of leadership from him, no matter what side of the ball he's on, whether you're on offense or defense. And so, I think that's going to be real good for this team.
He talked today about the emphasis of discipline, details, and competes, and that this group is starting to take steps in that direction. Are you seeing that?
Oh, yeah. A lot faster than I kind of expected, and, for a younger team, I mean, it's you can't ask for anything more, because like you want to hit the ground running, when that time comes. And so it ain't got to be perfect now, but it's got to be the preparations leading to that perfection, and that's a lot of what he's talking about as far as the details, just everything. And so it's been awesome to see, man. These guys are growing a lot since first day of OTAs.
Why were you guys able to flip it in Detroit? You spoke about culture before and what AG is trying to instill here.
I think it is culture and guys buying into the culture, because you can have a culture, but nobody buying in, and I think the biggest part is just having the guys buy in, and then at that point the culture's ingrained. And so now you got the guys that are implementing the culture instead of the coaches implementing it. And once that happens, it's a dangerous team.
What can you tell us about Tanner? Because he was your passing game coordinator there with the Lions, and now he's the first-time offensive coordinator in the National Football League.
Tanner's always been smart, man. When I got to Detroit, he was tight ends coach, and so he quickly rose up the ranks. And so, I mean, and you can tell, you sit down with him, you talk football with him, he's got it, and I'm excited to kind of see what he dials up this season and what kind of creative stuff he can throw out there.
You're still a very young man by just
appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
you don't get a lot of that.
But you're 30 years old. So is it weird? Can you talk about, hey, I'm one of the older guys on this roster.
Yeah.
There aren't many guys on this roster with a 3 after their names.
It's definitely a new. It's definitely new for me. I was a little bit older in Denver as well, but there were still some year 7, year 8 guys that were kind of complimenting me and stuff. But just kind of being having that 3, going into year 9, it's a blessing for sure. But it definitely humbles you when you're getting around here and all these guys are like 2002 and
really
2004s, and I'm like, oh, and I'm getting a little old.
Yeah, but you don't feel that way, do you?
No.
So Sean Jefferson, what's he like in that room, and how much is he leaning on you? Because there's a lot of familiarity there when you're talking about Tanner and Aaron.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, SJ's he's a character, man.
Yeah.
He's a great dude. He's gonna bring that energy every day. He's gonna expect the best from you every day, and just having somebody who's done it, for a long time, has played as well as coached. I mean, it's it don't get any better. He OG. He's the OG. So, but yeah, he leans a lot on me on just being able to kind of, as far as details, techniques and stuff, like, because I mean, once those installs go, we get going. So a lot of stuff gets missed. And so for him to be able to kind of just lean on me about, hey, how did y'all kind of run this? And it helps a lot. And so, I'm here to help however I can.
Can you speak to the mantra in the room about, hey, if you don't block, you're not getting the rock?
Oh yeah, that's football.
Yeah,
that's football that got lost in the way a little bit. A lot of these younger guys kind of used to not having a block, but still gonna get the ball. And so it's a little rude awakening out in the NFL, man, because you got to block. There's 3 three things you got to do in the NFL that it's not going to change. You got to run, you got to block, and you got to tackle.
Yeah.
You know, and so not anywhere does it say catching, but you know your receiver, you got to catch, but you got to block.
How much do you love the physicality aspect of the game?
I love it. You know, I should have been a safety.
Really?
Nah, I played a little safety when I was in high school, but no, I mean I love the contact. You know, that's football to me.
Yeah.
You know, I just love putting my hands on somebody. So if I can do that, you know, especially if I'm not getting the ball, I'm gonna make myself felt in this game somehow.
So you take equal pride in the run game when the guys are hitting the edge and they're coming behind you?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Garrett Wilson, he's entering year 4. Obviously, he's accomplished a lot already in the National Football League. What have you thought of him so far, just practicing alongside him?
He's a gamer. He makes plays, man. You know, he's still picking up the offense. You know, they got him all over the place. So, you know, I'm sure his brain's a little scrambled, but he's been picking up nicely, you know, and you know, the more he can do that, the more they're gonna be able to put him in positions to get a lot more balls, you know, a lot more catches, and you know, ultimately that's what you want to do. You want to get the ball
What do you like
in that
about
guy's hands?
What do you like about his physical skill set?
He's got great hands.
Yeah.
Great natural hands. And, you know, his routes are excellent. You know, the sticks he can do. I mean, it, you know, gets me a little jealous with the knees sometimes. You know? But no, he does his thing, man. And you know, I'm excited to see you know how he develops this year.
So not too long ago, like we were talking about, you were coming out of Texas A&M. Aaron Smith coming out of Georgia right now. What's key for him early on, because he hasn't even taken his first training camp rep?
Yeah, I think it's taking care of that body. You know, if you're not available, you know, it's tough to be out there to make your mark. You know, and so I think the biggest thing is just more of taking care of your body, because I mean everything else is gonna flow. He's got all the physical attributes. He's fast. He's got good hands. He can run routes, and so. You know, it's more of that body taken care of, because the season gets long. You know, like what is it, an extra like, you know, 5-6 weeks from when they be done.
Yeah, right.
You know, and so you know that rookie wall is real.
Yeah, can be eye opening for guys,
it's
right?
Eye-opening for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And so
What changes once you do put the pads on? Because we're here, final week of OTAs. And Aaron likes where you guys are ascending to, but for you guys on the outside, what's going to change?
I think just the blocking aspect of it now. You know, yeah, it'll get a little more physical as far as, you know, releases and all that, but that doesn't really too much change. And so it's more of now, like, you know, now you can get your head in there on the run blocks and stuff. And so I think that'd be the biggest change.
So I wanted to ask you about your quarterback too, Justin Fields. And you can talk about Tyrod too, because there's another vet, much like yourself, got tremendous experience. And Justin, about his skill set, what's it like playing with a guy who is, hey, he's got a big arm, it's explosive, he can get it anywhere on the field, but at the same time, there can be a second play because he can extend.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, for the most part, it's pretty new for me in my career, you know, in the NFL. And so it's, you know, it's a little adjustment period. You know, I come out the break and I see him taking off. I'm like, oh dang, you know, let me turn around and block. You know, so no, he's real smart. You know, he's real smart. He's been picking up this playbook like that. You know, and I mean, the more he just gets comfortable with it, calling the plays and just knowing where everybody's at. You know, I think he's gonna have a big year.
How much fun are you having? Let's get out with this one. How much fun are you having right now?
Oh, I'm having a great time.
Yeah?
Yes, great time. As long as I can be out here playing the game I love, running around with all these guys, man, I'm ecstatic. You know,
New home, New York.
New home. You know, I haven't been out to the East Coast yet, and so you know, I'm excited, man.
Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Game day and every day, score a jewelry touchdown with Kendra Scott. Shop fashion and fine jewelry fit for another winning season at your local store or KendraScott.com. Shine bright, do good with Kendra Scott. Time for my extra point. From the start of this new regime under GM Darren Muji and head coach Aaron Glenn, the Jets said they were on the hunt for smart tough, aggressive, and resilient players. In Andre Cisco, the Jets are getting a big man with really good ball skills who is going to be one of the leaders of the secondary. In Josh Reynolds, the Jets are getting an outstanding blocker who can help in the run game, and he can win against man coverage that he figures to see a lot with Garrett Wilson commanding attention. On a young team, Cisco and Reynolds also figure to play critical roles in the locker room. As Glenn says, culture is about having the right people. We'll catch you all next week.